Guys, I had something incredibly strange happen recently. There was this strange sensation in my head that I just could not really place, you know? It was such a surreal feeling that I think it might have actually been me thinking. I actually thought up a cute little video idea all by myself. I am a proper big boy now, guys. I thought it would be fun to examine a certain what-if scenario involving the Saiyans and some unlikely other invaders. By the way, guys, if I sound like I am dying in this video, it's because it sure does feel like I am. I've been sick for 3 days now, but got, honestly, ironically sick and tired of not doing anything at all, so you're just going to have to deal with a pretty much sick me this video, so... You know, pardon me for, like, talking, like, muffled or whatever. It's because my nose does not know how to actually breathe right now. So, during the making of this video, I am a canonical mouth breather, which is probably what I sound like with all my other videos, but, you know... whatever. But imagine this, right? During the battle with Raditz, Goku and Piccolo, Raditz actually remembers he is like, I don't know, twice as strong as Goku and Piccolo and just gets out of his dreaded full Nelson. Piccolo penetrates Goku hard and he soon gets taken out by Raditz too. Raditz has successfully conquered Earth. Clap, clap, clap. And so he calls his homies in to come celebrate the conquest of a new planet, right? But another certain alien race has heard this transmission as well. So alongside Vegeta and Nappa, we have another force joining the party for the bragging rights to planet Earth. The Viltrumites from Invincible have arrived. But how would the battle between the 37 remaining Viltrumites and the 3 remaining Saiyan warriors, you know, excluding Broly, Tarbell and Paragus and I suppose Turles in that equation, that is, for obvious reasons, actually go? You know, Viltrumites and Saiyans have a lot more in common if you just look at their background and design, right? Both are humanoid alien races that have been driven to extinction and live by conquering foreign planets. If anything, the Viltrumites are even slightly better off than the Saiyans are, considering the remaining numbers that are, you know, canonically in the shows. But with all their similarities, how do they actually compare in a combat scenario? I assume most of the people watching my videos know at least a little bit about Dragon Ball, so I won't go into too much depth on the Saiyans, like their backstory and whatever, but I will briefly cover them here just for the people who might not know anything about them, right? So in Dragon Ball there are 3 Saiyan invaders who come to planet Earth for various reasons. These Saiyans are Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta. Dragon Ball uses a power level system with numerical values to assess the combat ability of fighters early on in the franchise, right? Through this system we know that Raditz had a power level of 1200, Nappa had a power level of 4000 and Vegeta had a power level of 18,000. For context, Vegeta stated that he could pretty comfortably destroy the planet Earth if he went all out with his Galagon attack, which raised his power level to around 27,000. And this is the point where people will likely really hate me for saying this and call me a hypocrite because I'm about to say something that I have used before myself in my own videos, you know, admittedly wrongly looking back. But if you just follow the manga as the true canon of Dragon Ball, the very lowest power level to be confirmed to actually be able to destroy a small planet like the Earth is actually Vegeta at 18,000. King Vegeta destroying planets is anime only filler, Vegeta destroying planet Alia is anime only filler. Even some of the official guidebooks state that you become able to destroy planets around the 10,000 range in terms of power level. So by that logic, base Raditz and base Nappa are not capable of destroying a planet like Earth. Once they enter the Great Ape state, which multiplies their power tenfold, they would clear that range though. But I feel the need to clearly state that I am growing more fond of this logic by the day, to be honest. You can make the argument that Roshi destroyed the moon with a power level of 240 and the Earth is about 4 times larger than the moon, so you could just multiply 240 by 4, right? Which is also something I have done before, by the way. Like, I'm admitting here that I think I made mistakes and, you know, I'm not above, you know, changing my opinion if I learn something new that makes me change my opinion. But we also have to remember that the Earth is also 81 times more dense and heavy than the moon, so that 4 times increase to 240 also does not make much sense to me the more I think about it, just being completely honest here. And 240 times 81 equals 19,440 though, which comes awfully close to Vegeta's power level during the Saiyan saga. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I approve of this logic just over my previous viewpoint, and you know, I guess it invalidates some of the claims I've said before, but I am not above admitting that I might have been wrong in the slightest, so you know, take this as me admitting that, you know, maybe I was wrong, right? But I've gotten a bit off track here. We have 3 Saiyans, with one of them being able to single-handedly destroy a small planet like the Earth. But how strong are Viltrumites in terms of Dragon Ball power level? In order to figure that out, we have to look at some of their abilities and feats. For all intents and purposes, Viltrumites are just a slightly nerfed Saiyans, I guess. The strongest Viltrumite is probably around the level of a lower class Saiyan warrior in terms of combat power. Just throwing a wildly average power level out there, but I'd say the remaining Viltrumites would have power levels ranging around the 1000 level, give or take. Some exceptions would be higher and some would be lower, of course. But most of them can probably take out moons themselves in one, maybe, you know, 2 trips without the biggest amount of effort. But in order to take out the Earth, they would have to make multiple trips to seriously damage it, and they would likely need 3 to 4 of them to attack it at the same time too. They have certain advantages over Saiyans as well as certain disadvantages, right? In terms of the advantages the Viltrumites have is obviously their superior numbers and the ability to actually breathe in space. They're also physically more durable than the Saiyans are, like I do not see Vegeta fighting on the sun like Frag did, for example, without just incinerating. But the Saiyans also have the ability to do long-range combat through the use of ki techniques, which is obviously a major advantage for the Saiyans in my opinion. In terms of speed, a Viltrumite can reach a speed faster than light, but it will take them a while to actually reach that speed, you know, once they get going. Raditz, Nappa and Vegeta are all at least capable of bursting at light speed instantaneously for short periods of time. Averaging it out, I'd say their speed feats are not that far apart from one another, but the short of it is that Raditz is most likely stronger and faster than every single Viltrumite in a one-on-one fight. But if multiple Viltrumites, say 2 or 3 maybe, gang up on Raditz, I can easily see them overpowering him. Nappa would be more difficult for sure, but it's still a possibility at the very least. Vegeta though, I think could single-handedly take on all 37 remaining Viltrumites and win that fight in my opinion, with really not a lot of effort probably. There just comes a point where even if you have 1000 fighters at a power level of, you know, roughly 1000, they would not be able to overpower a single fighter at Vegeta's level. At least in the context of Dragon Ball, it does not really, like, you know, always work like that, right? So if you were to ask me how this fight would go, I'd say the Saiyans might lose Raditz if things go down the unlucky route, but they would easily destroy the Viltrumite invasion for the most part. And if the Saiyans manage to become great apes, the Viltrumites, they really don't stand a chance anymore. That scenario would have them facing off against a Raditz at a power level of 12,000, a Nappa at a power level of 40,000, and a Vegeta at a power level of 180,000. Long story short, they would get cooked harder than a contestant at one of Gordon Ramsay's cooking shows, right? But even though I believe the Viltrumites would have little hope of victory in this scenario, this is definitely one of those fights that would be incredibly cool to just see animated or drawn up, or even maybe written out. I don't really care, just give me the fight. Both franchises have pretty potent followings, so the discussions would be pretty fire and interesting for sure. But I am honestly much more curious to hear what you guys' take on this topic actually is. My dusty ass might come to one conclusion, but I bet there is at least like 2 of you guys who can prove me wrong. Probably 20, okay, 200. Yeah, I might not have the best take sometimes. So, you know, be sure to drop your take on all of this in the comments down below to make me look like a complete retard in, you know... So be sure to drop your take on all of this in the comments down below to make me look like a complete idiot for internet points. And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's video. As per usual, I truly do appreciate every single viewer that takes the time out of their day to just watch my content. It makes me a very happy boy that I can produce content that even a handful of people enjoy, right? So if you would like to see more of my content in the future, please consider clicking the subscribe button and turning on all notifications for my channel. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you all again in the next video. Peace out.